coming to your way without even understanding what how it would impact on us. This is a point that we need to take from here, that collaboration between universities, private sector, government is more important today than ever before. The goal number 3 is to foster information sharing and collaboration even here. We need to know what the SAT knows. For example, if you look under the first circular issued by the President, e-government is going to merge with the ICT, Ministry of Communication. It's going to be brought there. As we build the new, CPK, Central Bank of Kenya, whom we have written to. Once a software comes out, this is when these organized criminals start to work on that software. If we stay ahead of the curve, we would reduce the cyber crimes that we are seeing today. And sometimes we don't get the full information as to how much it has cost us in this country. Sometimes we use numbers from other parts of the world. This is why we need research activity linked to the regulator, such that when we come here, we are talking out of knowledge. And we must provide national leadership. There are problems. And as I said, if CCK has it that every year they are spending this much money on research activity in the area of cybersecurity, it becomes a tradition. And this is the kind of leadership that we need. I say this confidently, knowing that in this country, we do not have the culture of research. We do not have the culture of using information to be able to make decisions. Yeah? Which you will be able to read more from the cybersecurity strategy. We will be able to make headway with respect to securing this. We are seeing new crime, especially on the mobile phones. I saw just last weekend a prominent lady got a picture of herself onto a pornography material, and she was told, unless you cooperate, we are going to distribute this picture. And if you look at that picture, you will actually think she's the one. You must have very good understanding of computers to know actually that she's not the one. A lot of women are being told that this picture, we will send it to your husband unless you pay 10,000. Most of them are paying quiet. This is where we must begin to educate the public. If the husband does not know that there is software to do that, that woman will suffer. If it wasn't that this woman was prominent enough and strong enough to come to the ministry and the report, she would have paid money. How many Kenyans are paying money because they don't want to destroy their character? And the criminals who are the organized criminals are actually doing this. The newest is that there are organized criminals out here who would go and call from the base stations in committee, such that the operators will tell us this is coming from committee, that we have nothing to do with this. So it is so scary when you see such and you know that people are suffering quietly and they are not able to talk about it because they want to maintain the integrity and character. So this thing has come to us. I mean, this thing is with us. We have the responsibility to deal with it, and I've been asking DG that we need to beef up the secretariat. We need to have what the Constitution says, the face of Kenya. I mean, we have to have women and men. Women generally if they came and found a man seated there, and they want to say, this is my naked foot, most of them will not do it. So we need to allow a way that they can confide and say, this is what I'm going through. But we must continue with education. Education, education. And all of you are Africans know this. Yeah? If someone brought where they have taken your wife's head and put it on a naked woman in a pornographic act, the first thing is that ninajua tu huyu mwanamke anatelewanga usiku hiyo, you know, and you actually create havoc for somebody. By the time you discover that you are fooled, you have destroyed your family. We have serious problems. We have the responsibility, and such sessions will enable us to begin to understand what is going on. Our police has been doing a tremendous job to track such criminals, but we must build massive capacity. There are people in the village who don't understand, who wouldn't understand, but there are people who know that they have a little money they have earned from coffee. They would snatch it by threatening them with such threats. We must educate them that with such threats, we go to police, we go to collect, and report this. So I thank you for organizing this. Let us continue to work together and safeguard our people's security. That's it.
Thank you, volunteers, for that.
So we have, just to introduce the panelists, we have Michael from the Uganda Communications Commission, and Jeremy from the ARCT, that is the Legislative Authority for ICTs in Burundi. Michael, can you please take up the chair?
Thank you, Chris. Please feel free. I'll make a presentation to share the Kenyan experience on cybersecurity management. It's on Ground Experience Kenya Cybersecurity Management Framework. This will be taught by Christopher Wangua, my colleague, and Michael Katundu, I'm the Director of IT in CCK. Introduction. I will talk about cybercrime versus cybersecurity. Those are two terminologies. I don't want to cover anybody. I'm sure everybody can see. Those are two terminologies which sometimes are used interchangeably. We need to start appreciating, as the PSD mentioned, it's important that we build capacity among ourselves so that we can be able to reach out to other critical mass and educate them about cybersecurity. We need to start creating a lot of awareness in this area, which is new and emerging and quite challenging. So I'll be able to talk at the introduction, cybercrime and cybersecurity, types and examples of cybercrime, and we talk about this. Already the PS talked about a new technique which is being used to cyber attack and kind of threaten people. Best practice in national cybersecurity management. What is it that we need to do at the minimal level as a country and as a region, East Africa, because we all appreciate that we work very closely within the East African region, and that's why we have our East Africa members participating in this forum. And item 2, I'll talk about Kenya's experience in the implementation of our National Cybersecurity Framework, and we hope to also hear from our East African colleagues so that we can see what we can borrow from them. And under the cybersecurity, under the implementation of the national framework, I'll talk about policies, laws, and regulations, technical measures, that is the national CERT. CERT is Computer Incident Response Team, and in brackets the KCERT-CC. The KCERT-CC is the National Computer Incident Response Team of Kenya. That is Kenya Computer Incident Response Team. coordination center, because as the DG did mention, we are looking forward to having various sector SATs also put in place, which will collaborate with the national SAT at the national level, and then the national SAT will be able to collaborate with the regional SATs at the East African level, and the global SATs also beyond the East African region. Then Kenya's National Cybersecurity Master Plan, which the PS has mentioned or talked a bit about it. Then Kenya's public key infrastructure, also the PS did talk about public key infrastructure. And then item 3, how to report cybercrime attacks in Kenya. We all know if you are attacked, maybe a physical attack by some thugs somewhere, we tend to look for the nearest police station to go and report the attack. But when it comes to cyberspace, which is also becoming even more threatening than even physical threats, many of us do not know how we can go about reporting that in our countries. And hence the reason why we need to have national SATs and sector SATs so that we can be able to run the nearest SAT. The good thing is that the sector SATs and national SATs, they have a way of collaborating among themselves so that whatever sector SAT cannot do and it requires the support of the national SAT, it reaches out to the national SAT. So it may not matter where you report the incident, somehow in one way or another, it gets resolved and you get advised on how to mitigate it. Then there will be a question and answer. Cybercrime versus cybersecurity. We talk of cyber crime, and the cyber crime is basically the cyber attacks which we encounter. And one of the reasons why we have to really be keen in dealing with issues of cyber crime is to ensure that people enjoy safe internet, safe Facebook, safe Twitter, and more so be able as a country to take advantage of electronic commerce, to increase the level of penetration of electronic commerce so that we can be able to trust transacting online on the internet without fear of our money is being stolen, fraudulent events, technology of you have your house with very reinforced doors, so it's a preventive mechanism you have undertaken. So for someone to really be able to attack you, it will not be very easy, but you may be able to know someone who is trying to threaten to get into your house. So a preventive measure. Another measure of cybersecurity is being able to deal with the sophisticated kind of attacks, and I'll dwell into that at a later stage. Types and examples of cybercrime. There are many. I'm sure if we open up the forum for you to share examples of probably what you have faced or your next of kin has faced, there will be pages and pages of cybercrime examples. One of them is money transfer fraud, and we know banks are suffering quietly. Customers are losing millions and millions of monies, and banks in total are losing billions of Kenya shillings, of dollars, of all the types of currencies you can imagine through fraudulent transfers. How does that get to happen? You could start with a very basic way of somebody stalking you and you share your password. Or somebody may have just put a very weak password, which is your name and your birthday, and you believe now you have characters and numbers. So you just say Michael and then the year of birth. When somebody comes to try and hack into it, it becomes very easy. And somebody ends up using or rather accessing your bank accounts. Somebody may have also exposed your computer when you are doing a certain transaction. You position your computer in such a way that somebody at the back or behind you can comfortably track all your transactions and records and passwords and be able to record them. Somebody may have put a certain malware on your computer. So whatever you do is being copied, and somebody is able to get that at a later time and use that to crack into your account, and many others. There's nothing as bad as losing your money, right? We are too quiet. I just hope at some point people will talk.